Today, 30% of clothes go directly from factory to landfill, generating 10% of carbon emissions, 20% of polluted water. For people in Africa, you probably know many part of the country in the suburbs, people, those Americans, they actually just go and like knock down the mountains and then dump the clothes there. Africans do not need more clothes. In fact, right? So a lot of clothes were just being go to the landfill. And no one want that, including fashion brands. So yes, I can help them to monetize their excess inventory because for a very well known brand in certain country, they may not be well known in the US, and I can bring those brands to this unique, amazing, high quality brand to the audience. But the world is not going to be better if they continue produce junk. Right? So I need to send them feedback back, say, you know what, most of your clothes were just 2 inches short for the sleeve for the Americans. They just cannot wear. Or most of people think the belly is just too tight. Or for these things in your size medium is a little bit too small, but your size large is too large, right? So like those things are very specific feedback so then they can improve so then we can reduce the excess inventory next year. So then the work can be doing better or can be better and more sustainable.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Journey to Legacy. I am your host, Wayne Veldsman. My guest today is Miss Anya Cheng, the founder of Taelor AI. She's also a best-selling author. She was awarded Girls in Tech 40 Under 40. She's a 2 times TEDx speaker as well as a professor at Northwestern. Needless to say, Anya is a wealth of information, and her story that she shares, from being an immigrant in Taiwan to getting creative in getting into the marketing and tech industries in Silicon Valley, is inspirational to say the least. I'm super excited for you all to hear her story today. So let's hop on in with Miss Anya Cheng of Taelor AI. Anya, I'm really excited that you're here today because your story, like I mentioned to you, is not just inspirational, motivational, but I think people can learn from it a whole lot. And so if you don't mind, for everybody out there that doesn't know you, introduce yourself just briefly for us.
Hello. This is Anya Cheng from Silicon Valley. I am now running Taelor AI, and Taelor AI is a company that we offer AI stylists to help busy men to pick their clothes. So, for people who pay shopping and laundries, that's what we are here for. Before starting the company, I have 15 years in big tech companies before, most recent at Meta, where I helped build out Facebook, Instagram, shopping. Was head of product for eBay. One of my portfolio company was Gumtree Africa. So I went to Cape Town 10, 15 times. I love the Table Mountains. I love the penguins. I love the foods. And I love the people and definitely the oceans. Love it. Before that, I was a senior director for McDonald's, helping to build out food delivery business globally when Uber Eats just started. Anything digital in the store, including the kiosk that you order your burger, and also help Target, which is a competitor of Walmart, to launch their tech office here in Silicon Valley. Excited to share more today.
Yeah, so exciting. Man, innovations at Meta, eBay, Target, McDonald's. It sounds like it was mostly in e-commerce and the tech space. How did you sort of spearhead into that niche in the industry?
Yeah, so for I start my career as a marketer, as a data scientist. So my job was helping 15 years ago, helping every single advertisement to be personalized. I know it seems pretty obvious nowadays, but 15 years ago, most of people see the same show, the same ads, the same flyers, and you go to website, everyone see the same thing. So then the product team, at that time I didn't know it's actually called product manager, but basically the website team and the mobile app team say, Anya, it's amazing you make every single ad to be personalized. But when they come to a site, they look the same. And they say, can you come in to help us to make sure they all looks personalized? So I start my first job as a product manager to helping the website to be more personalized through different data And then over time, became product managers and became head of product and leading large engineering teams, technology teams, AI, UX, UI design, marketing, and sales organizations. So became kind of head of product for the entire profit and loss. During the journey, I really love it because, as you know, like product managers, like mini CEO. So you wear a lot of hats. You think about how to solve the right problems, and then you figure out how to find the right solution for the right problem.
You just put that the head of product becomes this mini CEO, right? Where you are truly trying to create a new entity within a larger company. But also so interesting to me that you started out personalizing ads and then the companies realize, well, once they come inside, like what is the experience and how can we personalize that as well?
Yeah, yeah. So I think at that time, the like personalizing ad wasn't very popular, and so I start my career in the media magazine industry where was leading media companies, and then I went on the e-commerce company and I lead the media buying, which is figure out, okay, you were in the magazine side, tell us what we should buy. Should we buy CNN or ESPN? And turn out that none of them is correct. The correct thing is you should buy where your customers are located and make sure they looks different, right? So personalized is a great thing. And just like right now we are doing Tailor AI, we use AI to provide AI stylist. And that means that it's not custom suit, it's AI stylist. Like pick and choose what you should wear. We partner with 300 fashion brands and then personalize for people. In the old time, that means what? Means you have to be Hollywood celebrities. Only those celebrity has personal stylists, right? Because for a human to go and shopping with you, go to department stores, like, okay, when you should wear this black t-shirt with this red pen. By the way, I love the South Africans. They do have very interesting, a lot of taste, like really good taste. And then also compared to like Nigerian and Kenyan, they all have very different tastes and much more fashionable, actually, Americans. So the same thing, we're now using AI to help people to personalize their outfit, picking the different outfit, so mix and match from 300 fashion brands. So in general, I found that personalized relevance has been very helpful, and in this trend is going there from advertising now all the way to all kind of AI agents.
Personalized relevance. This is something I think everybody can take a piece of for their own lives. Whether it is starting an ads being personalized, the experience inside of a store being personalized, personal shopping, right? Or AI driven clothing, having like a personal shopper. Or even, I talk a lot about communications, Anya, and I think we're going to talk about communications here in a little while. But depending on who you are speaking to in your day to day, if you can tailor your message or the stories that you're telling to be personalized to the other individual you're speaking to, you can build relationships, right? So much stronger. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. For everyone is different. I recently went on a sales conference. So the sales coach say that they separate people audience to be four different archetypes. And so the first archetype is people called fighter. And fighters are people who will love to win. And if you go to the office, you will see trophies and different like awards, and then they also get to the point. Okay, you are selling me this. What's the bottom line? So as for entrepreneur, you probably meet those type of VC, right? What's your margin? How much revenue are you making? How many customers you have? How when are you going to break evens? Right? You get to the bottom line right away. And you cannot convince them because those people, you can only nudge them to convince themselves because they only trust themselves. You're like, how do you how do you find best customer company to invest? Oh, yeah, AI, right? AI industry is growing really a lot. Yeah, and do you like you really appreciate people who have big company background? Oh, yeah, that's right. And then talk when they were talking, they were like, oh, yeah, I think this is definitely we invest in AI, invest in people with big company backgrounds, and they convince themselves, say, okay, we should invest in a company, right? Or the coach say the second archetypes are people who are called detective. Liberal people love numbers. Okay, show me. You say margin is 35%. You mean contribution margin. You mean gross margin. How do you calculating the margin? You mean variable cost. How about your warehouse rent? Is it considered in the variable cost or considered in fixed cost? And they love numbers. What do you mean 10%? No, I see your numbers 10.5%. They love accuracies and numbers. So the way to close a deal with them will be, hey, tell me in what scenario we will be saying that this is a great deal, because they will keep asking question again and again and again, and they always have more number they want to look at. So your job is to figure out how to stop them, and by figuring out, ask themselves like, in what scenario that you will feel like your due diligence is enough, right? And the coach said there's third type of person who is called entertainer. You will probably see those people who love people. They talk, talk, talk. Everybody love them. They love everybody. They like colorful outfit. It's for so on their table there are family and kids pictures and picture of the teams. They just love to be loving people. And those peoples, they tend to love other people's attention. They love, who do you know? Oh, when you were in Africa, I was there for 10 times. You were for Gumtree. I love Table Mountain. Oh, your cousin also is my cousin's grandfather's friends and the cousins, right? So they love relationship, right? And the coach said the fourth type of persons are called like concierge. But those are people who love to coordinate with everybody, make sure everybody else aligned. Okay, have you checked with another person? That person, that person, that person, that person. They don't want to make decision. They want everyone else to make decision. Then you should make sure that everyone is on the table when you make decision. Like you say you want to check with the sales team and marketing team and finance team. I got three of them here in the room with you. How about we make a decision now? So answer your question, I think that personalize, make it relevant is very important because you want to make another person say yes for whatever you're asking for, then you have to go with their way.
Well said. Well said. Right. And thank you for sharing these four different sort of communication archetypes. Right. There's lots of different ways that people like to describe and define these. I've had a guest in the past that was in the music industry before he started to going into actually consulting. And so he would describe people as rock music or classical music or jazz. And so this outlook here of the fighter versus the detective versus the entertainer versus the concierge, right? Each one wants to hear something differently. And so if your job in this instance, maybe, right, you are going to raise money for your company, right? And so they are a venture capitalist. You need to give them the information that they want to hear. That's most important to them to be able to get them sort of onto your side or to see your ways. Even with that fighter, I like the way that you put that. That was like, yeah, so it's probably what's most important to you. Like it sounds like somebody that has AI because AI is really big. And they're like, yes, yes, exactly, exactly correct. AI, very important. Like, and somebody with big company experience. Yes, we must have big company experience. It's like, well, it looks like we're a perfect fit. And they're like, that's right. I'm the one that told you we're a perfect fit.
Uh, That's right. And I think so one thing the coach say is that the coach say, okay, name a person, okay, say when is amazing sales. Tell me what archetype when is. He asked this question to fighters. Fighters say, I think when is definitely fighter. He asked the same question to entertainer. Entertainer say, when is definitely entertainer. He's a part of us. And then he asked the concierge people. They say, definitely, when is one of us. Concierge for sure. Why? Because the best salesperson, best communicator, adopt. Adopt to be one of them. So they all think that person is one of them. But in fact, the person is just a great communicator.
I love that. Everybody, this is honestly such a great trick that if you want to improve your communication, whether it's personally or professionally, adapts to how somebody else communicates. It's going to instantaneously boost you up. Anya, I want us to rewind a little bit back, right? And we're going to talk along these similar lines of communication. But you have a really interesting story about when you first immigrated from Taiwan and how you started to get deeper into the marketing industry, so on and so forth. Take us back. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was around 2007, 2008 when you first immigrated.
Yeah, so I came to the state 2008, graduated from Northwestern University with a marketing degree in 2008, 7, and then coming at 2007 and graduating in 2008. It was right after the Lehman Brothers went bankruptcy. So as you may remember, there was no job anywhere. The unemployment rate was very, very high. Even my campus recruiting, I couldn't get any interviews. So I will wait outside of all other schools, different departments, campus recruiting event, engineering school, history schools, chemistry school. As soon as the recruiter came out of the building, I ambushed them, say, "Hey, this is my resume." I didn't get any interview. People saying, Anya, in the US, you have to do something called networking. It's not about ambushing people, cold calling people. Networking is the key. But I don't know anybody. People say you have to through referral. Someone have to refer you. But I don't know anyone. That's not true. I was a student, so I know every single professor in the school. They don't know me, but I know them, right? I check on their website. So I knock on the door for other department schools, and I reach out to those professors. One day, there's a professor, and his name is Epic. He said, Anya, I don't know you. I cannot refer you to anyone. But tomorrow I have a speech. Then there are a few panelists. You can come and then you can listen to the talk. And by the way, we need 20 more students. Please bring more students to fill the room. So I went, I listened to the talk. I really didn't understand anything that the person was talking about. My English was really bad. But after that, went ahead and I told the speaker, Taki, this is amazing talk. This is my resume. Can I interview at your company? So she said, okay, I will connect you to our recruiter. So I got an interview. I interviewed the company. As soon as I finished the interview, I walk out the building. It was a magazine company. They wrote magazine for farmers. I saw the magazine on the wall. I walked the whole way out. I thought, this is it. This is my company. I'm perfect for the job. My previous job before graduate school was a reporter. And I have a master's degree in marketing. They are a media company looking for a marketing person. Perfect fit. 2 weeks went by and nobody followed up with me. I called the recruiter. Hello, this is Anya. I'm following up. She said, stop calling me. I was laid off. The recruiter was laid off herself. So then I say, okay, you have nothing to do. Do you want to grab a lunch? She said, okay. So then we have a coffee chat and we were talking and she told me a lot of a secret. She left the company. She doesn't care. So she told me like, who is a decision maker? Who are their big clients? What's going on in the industry? And then after that, she told me one trip. Have you heard of New York, LA? There are bigger cities in the US. Bigger city has more job. Cape Town and Joburg, they are bigger city in South Africa. So if you're in a suburb, you got to go to the big town. So then you knock on the door of Wayne and say, Wayne, I listened to your talk. Can you refer me someone, right? So then I went on a trip for 2 months, New York and LA, 1 week each in different friends' couches, couch surfing. And I bought newspaper from the street. I look at the newspaper, it always say publisher name so and so. If you want advertising, call this number. So I call each of the publisher, and I end up met with New York Times CEO, CNN VPs, and those amazing companies executive. Nobody was hiring. They all say, hey, we are laying off people. By the way, if you know who is hiring, please let me know. I'm worried about my job. So I thought this work is just a little bit too slow. I need to meet hundreds of people right away. Conference. If you go to a conference, you can meet hundreds of people. But as you know, conference tickets are super expensive. So I call a magazine back in Taiwan and I say, hey, do you want me to cover this amazing conference in New York for free? They say, okay. So then I call the conference and hi, I'm a reporter from Taiwan. Give me a press ticket. So I got into the conference. I talked to hundreds of people for 2 months, but no job. I went back to Chicago. I was ready to back to home to Taiwan. But before I went back, I realized I learned a lot during those 2 months of talking to people. And a lot of what they do can be actually applied to the farmers magazine company. Remember, the recruiter was laid off, right? So I know the inside. So then I called the speaker again, the first person who were in the speaking events. So I said, "Hey, Peggy, I just came back from a New York trip. I met plenty of your competitors. Do you want to know what they are working on?" She said, "Yes." So before I go, I put together a business plan. At that time, I didn't know that means business plan, just a notebook. So I call their yeah, the advertiser. You open the magazine, you can find advertiser. I interview their readers. I interview obviously their former employees. And then I put together a business plan. I say, according to your competitor, they are working on these 10 things. Based on your customers and your employee, I think these two will be perfect for you. If you want to do these two, you will need someone with a marketing degree, with a media background. And I happen to know someone. Anya Cheng. Here you go. So yeah, that's how I got my first job in the
My
US.
goodness. That is wonderful to hear. Do you think in today's day and age there's a lack of creativity or thinking outside the box?
I think I didn't know what entrepreneurship was. I never thought I would be a founder actually until 2 years ago. In my whole career, I always thought being a founder means you need to be from wealthy family, you are well connected, and you have a lot of extra money you can spend, and you got to be engineers and all of those things. And it's until 2 years ago, I just always know that I like to build something 0 to 1. In this case, I build a business plan, I launch a new departments for the company, and I even create my own job. And the same thing happened again and again. Launch Target's tech office in Silicon Valley, McDonald's food deliveries, and Facebook, Instagram shoppings, and even Gumtree. We actually acquire another company in South America, and then also help Gumtree to launch their home auto this B2B service. But I just didn't know that I could potentially be a founder until 2 years ago. When I started asking around what people do after they work for big tech company, I realized a lot of them became founder. And I also realized there's a capital market, which means you don't have to spend everything as your own money. You can raise from investors, you share part of a company with them, build the pie bigger together. And then you can also potentially using a lot of AI agent nowadays to do coding and video productions, etc. So like people say now you have like one person company, which is possible now, right? So you just realize that it's actually in a very different era, and we are so lucky in this era where easier for people to be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely easier than ever. We're in this different era. And to bring this back, right, I think this is why creativity and being able to think outside the box is so important. Because if we look at your story, right, you graduated from Northwestern and first you tried to go the regular route, right? I think you sent out something like 500 applications, 500 times your resume, and you didn't get anything, right? And so you said, okay, how can I stand out? How can I be a little bit more creative? Then you decided to go the route of, you know what, I'm going to cold call people. I'm going to go right to their front doors. Try it this way. When that didn't work, again, okay, you take a step back. How can I be creative? How can I stand out? Right? Going to this talk, going to the conferences, calling a media company in Taiwan saying, let me cover this for the press, right? So on and so forth, all the way until eventually you created your own opportunity, your own job, right? And so now in today's day and age, it's almost easier, but I think the importance of creativity and thinking outside the box, finding a different way is more important than ever.
Yeah, I think for example, we are doing AI stylist with menswear rental service. What means is that people pay a monthly fee, say less than $100. Then our AI will know your preference. You upload your picture, you tell us your goal, getting a job, getting a day close deal. You don't care you wear blue or red. As long as you get a girlfriend or boyfriends, you are happy. As long as you get 200 million views of your podcast, you don't care what t-shirt you need to put on, right? So like as long as there's a goal, and then we ask people their fit issues, we ask them to we show them some pictures so then they can heart or dislike certain pick items, so then we know their preference. And then from there, we send them real clothes for them to wear, and they wear for multiple weeks, and they can buy the clothes or they return the dirty clothes. Then get new one. Just like you get off a car of Uber, someone get on the car of Uber, sharing economy. And back to your questions, people tend to ask us, okay, it sounds the same as Newly by Urban Outfitter, which is a woman's rental company. They make 500 million revenue per year since they started just 5 years ago. 300,000 customers. So the same thing, right? Woman's rental company, you're just doing the same thing, but for men. Sounds the same. The reality is it's totally different business. Why? Entrepreneurs. When you go on pitch, the judge asks you, the first question is what? What problem are you solving? Right? What problem are you solving? For women's rental company, the problem they are solving is that they want to help women to wear different things every day. We want to wear different things every day. I am not going to buy these clothes because I don't want to wear again tomorrow. Right? For our customer, the reason they are renting and the reason they want AI stylist to style them is because they don't want to think about fashion. They don't want to think about fashion. They hate shopping and laundry. They don't want to spend 2 hours browsing through thousands of garments. And they love to buy stuff because they use the service more like try before you buy. And most of men hate commitments, right? So you don't have to commit, right? You get the clothes, you don't, just like your Netflix show, you watch it for 2 minutes. I don't like it, get on next show. If you will buy a DVD, you have to go to stand there and research for 30 minutes, make sure you know that you're going to watch a DVD 5 times, Home Alone every Christmas, again and again and again, right? So Die Hard again and again every Christmas, right? You have to think about that. You have to make a commitment. So the problem we are solving for our customer is that they need to look good. Sales guy, single guy, but they don't want to think about fashion. They don't like to do shopping, and they definitely hate laundry, which is totally different from woman's rental company, which is for people who want to wear different things every day. So the user experience is different. The financial model is different because our customer buy the clothes. When in the woman's one, they don't sell the clothes much because the people don't buy. The revenue supplier opportunity is different because for our suppliers, 300 fashion brand, premium high quality brand, they are not afraid of being revenue share with me. I don't have to buy the inventory. Why? Because our AI pick the clothes, which means it's guaranteed their clothes will be rent, which is guaranteed they will get revenue every time people rent their clothes because our AI pick. It's like the Uber. If you are Uber driver, it's guaranteed at least you will get customer, right? You don't have to be waiting customer and pick for you because you will be paired. And the same thing in our model. So because the problem we are solving is different, so the user experience, the financial model, the operation model, the thought process are all different.
The comparison between your company, Taylor AI, and this other women specific company, I think is so fascinating because, as you just said, on the surface level, they seem almost identical. But then you boil it down to being more audience specific. And I love that this is now swinging back. This is almost where we started our conversation, right? That it's like, no, okay, we're actually specifically talking to men. And we're not just talking to men, we're talking to male founders, male entrepreneurs. And now, what is the problem that we're solving? When you stack all these together, it's totally different than this seemingly comparable competitor, right, in the women's fashion industry. And so by being hyper specific to your audience, as well as getting a little creative of how you're going to do it using AI, partnering actually with the brands or manufacturers of the clothing, right? You actually have created not an industry all your own, but like you've hyper segmented your business, right? To create something that stands alone away from all of your competitors.
Yeah, and this also become a very different business model, right? So, for example, today, because our customers are relying on us to pick clothes for them, means what? Means when you are our customer, you are going to tell us the feedback because we pick clothes for you. So if you are just buying something from e-commerce, you don't care because you may never go back and the feedback doesn't help you. But our AI and our human stylists pick clothes for you. So if I send you something that you cannot fit because you gain weight, or if something is too big because you lost weight, you are going to tell me because otherwise in 2 weeks I'm going to send you another thing that's exactly the same size, right? So we get feedback all the time. When you're going to tell me like, hey, next week I have a conference in Joburg, and the following weeks I have a vacation in Dubai, and you're going to tell me a lot. Oh, I just got a date with these friends and this girl and this what is man so cool. Then you're going to tell me a lot, and those feedback is where we get into the feedback to help the AI to do better, but also get supplier to do better. Imagine you are a brand in South Africa. You are popular there, but no one knows about you in the US yet. Imagine you just need to take your assets inventory and we put you here, we send you to the customer. Within a week, you have plenty of feedback. People tell you that, you know what, your sleeve, you just need 1 inch longer. I just talked to a supplier right now, and it's a supplier in Japan, and people love their pants, but the only thing is that they have the bottom, and the button is really hard to bottom it. Imagine in e-commerce side, people will have to give you that specific, like the second button is really hard to close, right? It's really, really hard for people to give you the kind of feedback, but our customers do because they want to make sure next shipment is better. So they always provide feedback. And this allow me to do what? This allow me to monetize the data, sell it to the brand. Hey, I can tell you what people say about your product. I can tell you what people are looking for outside of your product for other brands. Do you want to know what they are looking for so you have something to follow for next year's collection? I can sell the data for insights, right? So it's totally different business model.
Wow, that's so interesting. So that's what I'm hearing you say is that not only, of course, are you providing this service and solution to male founders and entrepreneurs, your business model goes deeper by collecting data very quickly from the end user and being able to sell that back to the brands.
Yeah, as a feedback, right? The word is not going to be, yes, today 30% of clothes go directly from factory to landfill, generating 10% of carbon emissions, 20% of polluted water. For people in Africa, you probably know many part of the country in the suburbs, people, those Americans, they actually just go and like knock down the mountains and then dump the clothes there. Africans do not need more clothes. In fact, right? So a lot of clothes were just being go to the landfill, and no one want that, including fashion brands. So yes, I can help them to monetize their assets inventory because for a very well known brand in certain country, they may not be well known in the US, and I can bring those brand to this unique, amazing, high quality brand to the audience. But the world is not going to be better if they continue produce junk. Right? So I need to send them feedback back, say, you know what? Most of your clothes were just 2 inch short for the sleeve for the Americans. They just cannot wear. Or most of people think the belly is just too tight. Or for these things in your size medium is a little bit too small, but your size large is too large, right? So like those things are very specific feedback. So then they can improve. So then we can reduce the excess inventory next year. So then the work can be doing better, or can be better and more sustainable.
I had no idea that it was that amount of clothes, right? They go through production, go essentially straight to landfill because, dare I say, it wasn't produced correctly or they're not accepting feedback. For entrepreneurship overall, what is the importance of being open to feedback and actively searching for feedback from your customers?
Yeah, of course, we all know it's important and it's never easy. But in our case, for example, we interview our customer every week. We want to make sure that we get every customer who churn, they get the email right away, book on my calendar, get a Zoom call with me right away. So if they're willing to spend time, we talk to them. Every customer who on board talk to a stylist. I join those call and get to know them as well. So today AI tool for customer service is so available. Tons of them, hundreds of them. We don't use them. It's not because we cannot. It's because today that every customer service is an opportunity for me to know my customer. Why they reach out to me? Oh, I'm confused. I thought I'm picking my own clothes. Okay, now I know I need to be more clear. Our AI with human stylists pick for you. Or a customer say, okay, how long do I need to return the clothes? It's up to you, but we charge you monthly fee like your Netflix show. If you are not watching the show for the months, then we continue to charge you. So if you are on two shipment plan, then you probably want to wear it for 2 weeks and then return again another shipment for so that you enjoy another 2 weeks. It's up to you. You want to do 3 weeks and 1 week or 3 weeks and another 2 weeks. That's fine. But then we charge you on a monthly basis. So every time customers circle back is an opportunity for us to know how do we improve our business and do better. And that help us. For example, when we started, we thought our customer are probably including people who are really fashion forward. Turn out that no, our customers do not read GQ. They are sales guy, single guy. They are as young as 16, as old as 85, but they all have very common lifestyle, which is they are socially active. They meet people for work, for dates, and they don't want to figure out how to look good. They are working hard on other stuff, but they are lazy men when it comes to shopping. They don't want to think about those things and they want to save the best time and energy in my spaces for stuff that they care. Could be art, could be technology, could be dating, could be money, could be podcasting, could be working hard, could be spend time with their kids. However they like to, but definitely not fashion.
And you would have known that if you didn't have this feedback loop, right? And it's great to hear that you all are immediately asking them to hop onto Zoom calls or phone calls with you and give this feedback. Because in the get-go or in the start, you thought that your customers were going to be fashion forward. They care a lot about fashion. They read GQ, and then it turns out because you're so open to feedback that you're wanting to hear from customers, it turns out that no, they're these sales guys that just tell me what to wear and I'll just wear it because I don't want to think about it. Like I think that is just such an
That's right.
amazing
That's
thing.
right. Our customer Yeah, we thought we are selling clothes, and turn out our customers are buying concierge. They are buying executive assistant. They are buying the gauge guy behind superhero. They are buying the black car service. So most of our customers, they are buying the convenience, peace of mind, and definitely they are buying the confidence and chance to succeed. They are not just about the clothes, and that's what we learn over time by interviewing our customer, by asking feedback, by reading their online reviews, and many more.
Buying clothes, they're buying confidence, convenience, right? The concierge service. Anya, that's amazing. If you can think back over your journey, right? You started, of course, in the tech space, right? Working for a lot of these big companies. You even said that you never thought that you would be a founder, you would be an entrepreneur. What's maybe one of the biggest lessons that you've learned that opened you up to new opportunities that you at one time thought you would never go that direction?
I think so. I will probably use my story there, how I started a company to answer the questions. And many times founders started because you have experienced a personal pain point. So in my case, it's a little bit unique. People say, "Oh, why two women?" I have a co-founder. She went to University of Chicago with me when we were uh, going through MBA program more than 10 years ago. So people tend to ask, like, why two women start a menswear business? Hmm. Because when I was working for Meta, eBay, I felt a little bit imposter syndrome. Imagine I'm a Taiwanese woman with people with color in the US, immigrants, and lead large teams. who are all Ivy League graduate, ex Googles and ex and Harvards, and they were just really, really smart people. So I feel a bit imposter syndrome. So I want to look great. I don't want people to find out that I'm freaking out every day. So I use subscription boxes like in the US, such as Stitch Fix. Those were subscription boxes that have been there for decades. How it works is the stylist will style you, but just like any e-commerce, they send you the clothes and you have to decide. In 48 hours, you want it or you don't want it. If you don't want it, you can return. But deciding is really hard. We hate to decide, right? You have to decide means you have to commit. You have to buy this clothes. You have to compare the price this with other stuff. Can I buy something cheaper, somewhere else? How many times can I going to wear this? This looks amazing, but do I have something that I can pair with it? This looks great, but will it be really wrinkling? Do I need to iron it each time? You have to think of a lot of stuff. But then I start trying rental company, like newly by Urban Outfitter, Rent the Runway or more. They are amazing women's rental company. They make 500 million revenue per year. But I had to spend 2, 3 hours browsing through thousands of garments. And it was a aha moment that I realized fashion companies are designed for people who are into fashion, not for people like me who just want to get ready for the day and be successful. So I start doing research. It must be other lazy women like me. Turn out there are a lot of people think like me, but they are all lazy men or busy men who hate shopping and laundry. Sales guy, single guy, pastor, professor, recruiters who are socially active but not into fashion.
Interesting. So it sounds like this lesson, right, that I'm asking, like, what's the lesson that you learned, is to almost look at problems in your own life and then go see if this is a bigger problem that you can maybe find a solution for other people as well.
That's right. So when I found that, hey, end up that a lot of people think like me, but they are busy men. And then look at how big is the market, right? As an entrepreneur, like, is it just one person, find another five busy men? No, we realize 42% of a payroll market in the US are for men. That's equal to $140 billion market. And if you look at newly, that's $500 million business. So, and how many customers? They have 300,000 customers. Today in the US alone, there are 15 million single guy, and then also there's plenty of sales guy, right? So those things two alone that I can get plenty of 100,000 customer easily, which is 100 million revenue per year in 5 years, right? So you think about how many people have their pinpoint. And then if there's a comparison for you to prove that you can be easily attract those people, then that's how you realize how big is the market.
It's crazy sometimes how quickly a market scales like that, huh? You think you're like, ah, this is just a little small problem. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? Actually, I can start $100 million company. Why not? Anya's, go
Yeah,
ahead, give me your thoughts.
we have we have one of our investors. They recently you got a company became unicorn, and all they do was just they help people to automate when you call the rental houses. Say, is it still available? That's it. All they do is that they use AI to replace the person say, is it still available? Unicorn company already. So sometimes the problem seems trivial, but it can be a really big market. You just never know. You have to look into deeper for the industry.
This is a very selfish question. I often think when developing products or services that we have to be the best and like stack things together, right? To make an unbelievable experience. It sounds to me like there's value in doing one tiny piece of the puzzle. What are your thoughts?
I think for sure. I my mentor is Patrick Lee. He was a founder of a Rotten Tomato. You know the movie review site tells you the 5 star, 4 star. So he said if you look at those company like you are a startup, you have little money, little people, very few people, very little time, and then if you say we can do A, B, C, D, E, all great because A company, B company, C company only can only do one thing. Do you really think that's possible? Not possible, right? You are a small startup, you have less resources, less time. How is it possible that you can do all combined? However, you can do one thing very well. For example, when Google started, their competitor was Yahoo. Yahoo has Yahoo Movie, Yahoo Finance, Yahoo News, Yahoo everything. But Google only have one feature, which is a search box. You can search something. That's it. Google beat Yahoo, right? And Google became really big. When YouTube started, YouTube only had one feature, which is upload picture, upload video, and find the audience. YouTube's founder is one of our investors, so we asked him how you become successful. He said they do this thing, that one thing very, very well, so well that Google had to buy them. When Instagram started, I helped you Facebook Instagram shopping. So we know when Instagram started, the only feature was filter. You upload a picture, you can change the color of a picture. That's it. So successful, Facebook had to buy Instagram, right? So if you are doing one thing very, very well, you can eventually become really big. So don't think about you want to be everything for everyone, but you have to do one thing. Like our customers are not fashion forward guys. Our customers are not people who cannot afford LV and that's why they are renting. No, our customer were just non-fashion forward, but guy who really need to do good because they need to close a deal because they need to get a job, get a date. So that's all we are doing. Are we doing any other market outside of US? No, we do only doing US only. Are you also doing luxury brand? You have LV, Burberry on the platform? No, we have premium high quality brands. Ron's, Marine Layer, Johnson& Murphy, Bonobos, Cuts, and most of built like amazing high quality brands. And but we focus on this area. We don't have cheap brands. We don't have like Taobao brand, but we have amazing high quality brand. That's where we focus on.
Focus in on one small thing and do it really, really well. Anya, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. In the podcast, we always like to start to wrap up with the theme of the show, right? The show's name is Journey to Legacy. And so I'm always curious to ask the word legacy. What does it even mean to you? And is there a legacy that you're working to leave on this world?
Yeah, I think some things a legacy means after you stop doing the things will continue be making impacts, right? So, for example, I personally published two books. I have four online courses. The reason I do so is because I also teach at Northwestern University, and getting to those schools is very, very expensive. Not everybody can afford it. Not everybody can get in. But buying a book for $10 is very easy. So I share my knowledge there to help more people. So even now, I stop publishing new books, people can still find the information there and they can learn from there. Same thing for Taylor. For example, last week's we have a customer. He said, "I want outfit to win this case at court. I'm getting divorcing. I want the right for my children's. I want to fight for it. I don't care what I wear as long as I win the case." We help him. He won the case. Now he is happy with his two kids, right? So we know he no longer get the same clothes that we sent him last week, but now we left a legacy. We have customer. He said it's my first time going out date since I broke up with girlfriend 5 years ago. It's my first time going back. We help him to dress up, and we gave him a little print where there's little dolphins on the print. So it became a conversation starter. Oh, I love your shorts. Oh, like I'm using this AI to style me. Wow, that's very interesting. Are you into technology? So it became a conversation opener. And eventually he is on the third date now. So we left a legacy because now we help his life to be easier. I think that's what Taylor is about. And that's what I've been trying to do. But I'm sure as a founder, you guys all are trying to leave a legacy and don't give up because it's really hard, but you make an impact for someone else's life every day.
Hard, but don't give up, right? You're making an impact on somebody else every single day. Anya, thank you so, so much. For anybody out there that wants to learn more about you and Taylor AI, what's the best thing for them to do?
Yeah. Holidays around the corner. If you know people in the US, you want to send them gift, go on taylor.style. That's Taelor.style, Taylor.style. The best gift is time. The best gift is style. And looking good is always a great gift. So use the code podcast gift. Podcast gift. You can get 10% off gift card. And if you are in the US, you want to try out the service, looking great, the holiday season, Valentine's Days, and your pitch meetings, for meeting with investors and other founders, and go on the site tailor.style, use the code podcast25, PODCAST podcast25 to get 25% off first month.
And that's a wrap, everybody. Thank you for being here. As always, please share the episode. Help us to grow Anya's company as well as the podcast. We can't do it without you. Amazing. Some of my biggest takeaways. This episode ended up being so much about communication, right? Also about specific and hyper targeting to your audience, whether that is in a conversation you're having, right? Anya shared these 4 different types of communication archetypes, right? That her mentor, a speaker, defined as the fighter, the detective, the entertainer, the concierge. A lot of people think of these in different ways, different archetypes, but this is a good one that you can sort of tangibly see how to communicate with that individual. And then, of course, we take this into a business sense, hyper-targeting your target customer, audience, speaking specifically to them, how they want to be heard and addressed. And then, of course, solving the very specific problems that they have. Take it from Anya, that she comes from a background working at Meta, at eBay, at Target, at McDonald's, the corporations with new product development, thinking hyper specifically about their audience. So important. And then as well, I love this whole piece around creativity. How can we think outside of the box to do things slightly different, right? When her 500 resumes and job applications all got denied, she didn't give up. She tried another route and another route and another route until she finally made her own job, essentially made the future happen for herself. She had a quote that I'll share with you that we actually didn't talk about in the podcast. It's that she realized for herself, reporters don't wait for opportunities, we find it. So I want to invite all of you out there, accept this reporter mindset. Don't just wait for an opportunity. Go out there and find it. Thank you all for being here today. Until next time, my name is Wayne Veldsman. You've been listening to Journey to Legacy.